Okay, going live on Facebook to talk about, are we going live on Facebook or no? Live on Facebook, yes. Oh, okay, I see what I did there. We are going to be talking about the problem, the danger of instant gratification. Okay. All right. Hi, friends. It is Friday night, and I'm doing what I kind of do every night, which is to unwind and philosophize. But I thought I'd come on here and I don't want to say this is a public service announcement, but this is a public service announcement. Instant gratification is not going to get you anywhere. And if you are addicted to instant gratification, then I urge you to do everything you can to stop that addiction, because it's fine when you're young. There's the angels and God grant you so much space when you are young. You can do instant gratification and still have a life. You can still have some help, and you can still have fun, and your joints don't act up on you. But when you start getting over 35, and 35 is not old, 35 is actually very young. But when you start getting to 35 and you are still living your life based on instant gratification, you are heading down a path that is probably more destructive, and you're going to definitely, I'm pretty sure you're going to regret it by the time you're my age, the ripe and yet so tender age of 52. So the danger of instant gratification, it's something that can come in a really small, subtle package, like allowing yourself, okay, so the ultimate issue is not keeping your word to yourself, not making yourself a promise, like, oh, I am going to start exercising. I'm going to start doing yoga. I'm going to start eating right. I'm not going to be on Facebook all the time. I'm going to start that business. I'm going to do all these things. All these things you promise yourself, but you don't follow through with. Now, if you're someone who follows through and keeps their word, obviously I'm not talking to you. But if you don't keep your word to yourself, then and you're in survival mode very often. Survival mode and instant gratification are kind of like, they're not two sides of the same coin. They are the pennies in the wallet of what I used to be, okay? All I had in my wallet were pennies and some dust. And one penny was survival mode and the other was instant gratification. I would finally get some money, and then that would be like, you know, like the fact that money wasn't coming in consistently, or it was not enough money, that was survival mode. That was penny one. And then the other penny was instant gratification, because I was so stressed out about not having money that when I did get money, I'd want to reward myself and make myself feel better. Like I'd get money and I'd go spend it on something. And it wouldn't even have to be a large amount of money. It could be a small amount of money, but I had to have something that would immediately gratify me, as opposed to saving that 4 cents, or, you know, saving that $15 and delaying gratification for, to have $45 in 3 weeks, instead of just $15 this week. That act that started when I was a kid, when I would get my allowance, just really snowballed into a habitual way of thinking, viewing, and interacting with the world. And so when it came time to actually want to do bigger things, more important things than to buy, some candy or whatever, it got to the point where I wanted to have really substantial things for myself. And I couldn't break the cycle, the fervor that had built up in my heart of needing to have instant gratification. And that gratification would come in the form of, food. It could come in the form of an orgasm. Like even my sexual play couldn't even, there wasn't going to be any long sustained lovemaking with me. It was going to be like instant gratification. Let's get there. And, it makes for kind of a sloppy life. Let's just be really honest. People who are out looking for instant gratification are not really creating great works of art that are enduring. And you have to make a decision about what kind of person and what kind of mark you want to leave on the world. What kind of frequency do you want to hold? And it's funny, I was talking to one of my dear clients, and I am so blessed because God sends me the most profound, deep people to work with. And so I can talk to them about really meaningful things and deep intimacy. And we were just talking about how certain urges build. And you can be, you make the decision, I'm not going to do this thing any longer, okay? And you stop doing that thing, and it's hard for the first few days. And then you fight it. And by the 10th day of not doing this thing that isn't serving your highest good, you feel like you're onto something, like, I'm never going to do this again. I own this thing of doing what's best for me. And then something happens after you've been doing it for like 3 weeks. You would think, oh, I've been not doing this for 3 weeks, I'm on a roll. But no, something comes in, and I think it's like a little test, like, here's an opportunity for you to see how badly you really want this, and to test your will and your resolve, and to test your focus. And so a feeling comes in, and it's like, well, wait, why am I not doing that thing? Why am I not eating cookies? I mean, it's just a cookie. I could certainly enjoy a cookie. And you think, okay, I'm going to just have one cookie today. And you have that one cookie. And then that urge comes in the next day, and you're like, I just had a cookie yesterday, but I'd like another cookie. And then the urge is like, go ahead and have another cookie. I only had one yesterday, and it's only one cookie. I'm only going to eat one cookie. And I've been off of cookies for 10 days. I'm going to have me another cookie. Instant gratification, 2 days in a row. You know where this story is going. You are going to be searching and searching and searching for instant gratification. You're back into the thing that you started. So here's my solution. And I'm getting this from my work with Overeaters Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous. I like Alcoholics Anonymous because those people have done the really hard work. In Overeaters Anonymous, it's hard work too. But in Alcoholics Anonymous, they're dealing with a whole nother level of survival mode. So I like to sit in on Alcoholics Anonymous, even though alcohol is not my thing, eating is my thing. And I like to read the big book and the 12 steps because it's just so intelligent. And so my suggestion is kind of coming a bit from that, not totally from that, a bit though. And the idea is that you just can't do it. You just don't get to have instant gratification. And you think, well, wait, so I have to like sacrifice and never give myself instant gratification? And I'm suggesting that in those habitual things, those things where you might have an addiction, like for me, the overeating, sugar, binge eating the cookies. Yeah, no, you don't get to do it. And here's why I say it. And please take this with a grain of salt. All right. I'm not judging, and I'm not saying that this is dogma. It has to be this way. But it kind of is that when you have an addiction, if you give yourself one slip up, like I'm going to just do this one time, it kind of sets a precedent and sends you back down the path. And the momentum might be a little bit slow, but it builds pretty quickly. And so I would like for you to consider what life would be like if you just didn't have that thing. And I know this is really hard because I had to, I did the overeating, right? But I also have a thing for television. My things, overeating and television, began when I was 7 or 8 years old, and I was a latchkey kid, and I was at home by myself. And when my mom would get home, she was pretty mean, and she treated me quite poorly. There was like a lot of emotional abuse. So I was home alone during the day. And then when my mom would get home, I was pretty much abused and made to feel insignificant. And even though, like, you would think that, oh, you're alone during the day, you don't have to have that tyrant. Well, I'm one of those crazy people who actually loved their mother, even though she would say really shitty things to me. Like, she was all I had. And so I kind of really missed her when she was gone during the day, And so she would leave, and all I had was television and food, because that's how she actually nurtured me, was by providing a tremendous amount of food for me. And I never got criticized. Even when I ate 14 hot dogs, I was not criticized at all for that, but I was criticized just for the person that I was and the way I looked, the things that were beyond my control, the texture of my hair, my skin color, just my being. Okay, can't really do anything about those things unless I cease to exist. And so the food was very comforting. And the television was extremely comforting. And so that's how those addictions started. I'd spend my whole day eating and watching television, and the two always went together. And as an adult, I would find myself sitting in front of, my TV, having my meals, and it was just so much pleasure that came from these very two reliable sources. It was a great source of love. So there was momentum. So for me, the idea, like when I decided that I was no longer going to compulsively eat, I was no longer going to watch television. And I'm just really not watching television to, how do I explain that? I guess I don't really need to explain it. Basically, I don't watch TV. Okay. I watch things to educate myself, and I have parameters about how I do that. So for example, when I'm taking an art class and I'm sitting down, I'm watching, I have to sit down and watch, right? I have to be present with what I'm doing. Okay. So it's not like I can't ever watch anything. I can't like learn anything from video or, learn anything from even a television, but it's that thing where the television is feeding me and nurturing me. Can't do that. And I think this is the important thing that I want to end this live stream with is the idea of not having television really repulsed me and left me feeling bereft. Like there was a serious grief, and also not compulsively eating. Of course, you have to eat, but not eating compulsively is different. So eating means you have a portion of food that your body needs, and then you eat it pretty much in a dignified way, meaning you cut it up and you eat a portion that fits properly in your mouth, and you chew and you savor, and you chew and you chew and you chew. All right, you chew to fully masticate your food, and then you swallow it, and that's healthy, normal eating. But what I was doing was shitloads of food, like 3,000 calories a day worth of food. Okay, and then I would shove it in, and it was like this in front of the television, like just shoveling it in and chewing 3 times, maybe 4, and priding myself on the fact that all of this is so open. I can swallow like 8 pills, no problem. You want me to take my vitamins? No problem. I take them all at one time, like this. Okay. And that was kind of like how I was eating my food. So as weird as that sounds, and as unhealthy, and as and you would think, oh, you would choke on your food. No, I did not. And there was comfort in that shoveling process. There was comfort of the vibration of this TV thing holding my attention, and the food and the sensuality of the taste, but everything happening in a very kind of frenetic, feeding the frenzy. There's a comfort in that, and a sensuality that is very real and very significant. So to ask me to give that up, even if it looks ridiculous, even if it's an appalling behavior, it doesn't matter, because it's comforting to me. It was comforting. And the idea, and my point is that the idea of giving that up was no. I mean, there were literally days and days of tears and mourning and grief every time it was time for a meal and I could not shove the food in. And every time I had to sit there, and I remember sitting there in those first days, chewing my food and counting to 30, 32, like, chew your fucking food, and the tears streaming down my face as I'm forced to chew my food. And for those of you who chew your food properly, you're like, you're crazy. No, I'm not. This is what most people are doing. I'm watching, I'm listening, and many, 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 many people are doing this, and they're feeding anxiety. So my point for this video is to break the abusive pattern of instant gratification. It's lulling you into a state of complacency, and it's taking you away from your power. It's taking you away from your potential. Instant gratification, sometimes it's good. But if you're basing your decisions, most of your decisions on that, and if you are filling your day and making decisions based on that, and if your choices are holding you back, then you need to stop the instant gratification. Okay, that's all I have to say. 3 times, 8 minutes. I guess it's 7 minutes, 21 minutes. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your Friday. I'm about to go have my dinner with no television, and I'm going to sit here and chew my food. Okay. Signing off. Bye for now.